Hello and a warm welcome to another edition of To The Point. In the wake of Punjab Revenue Minister Vikram Singh Badal being summoned by the Enforcement Directorate, spotlight is back on Punjab, which has been known as the den of drugs. What is exactly going wrong with Punjab and why has drug peddling become a point of political rallying? Joining me now is Deputy Chief Minister of Punjab, Mr. Sukhbir Singh Badal. So welcome on To The Point. Let me begin by asking you, the very fact that Vikram Singh Badal is being summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. People have been, all the political parties have been asking for his resignation. Do you also feel that now the time has come when Badal should step down?
I want to ask you a question. Will the nation listen to what a drug lord or a criminal says or what a government does? It is our government which caught that drug lord. It's our government who smashed his complete network. And if the drug lord takes one of our minister's name, that means you will forget that drug lord and start questioning our minister. That's exactly what is happening. If, for example, in Jammu Kashmir or in Assam just now, 100 people were killed and we catch the terrorist and the terrorist takes the Home Minister of India's name, that's because of him. That means the whole media and everything will go after the Home Minister. But it's very unfortunate.
But sir, given the political situation, don't you think that
this is a political game?
But this movement is also causing embarrassment to the party.
I am saying it is a political conspiracy against Punjabis. And it started off with by the Congress. You know the hatred of the Congress against the Punjabis, a Gandhi family against the Sikhs and Punjabis. 20 years back, Punjabis and Sikhs were branded as terrorists. Every Sikh is a terrorist. They used to call it in the newspapers and media a Sikh terrorist, a Sikh terrorist. What happened? Were we terrorists? We actually fought the...
So you're giving us a news point. You're saying that the Punjabis are being victimized at the hands of Congress? That's what
I'm telling you. What it all started, I'll give you how the game started. 20 years back, we were called terrorists. Any Sikh around the world was branded as terrorist. Unfortunately, we were the people who were affected by terrorism. Pakistan was fighting a war against India. They used Punjab as a battleground. We fought them, our Punjabis fought them, and we were able to last in 15-20 years eradicate terrorism. It was not the government of India, it's the Punjabis who eradicated terrorism. Now, the same forces are now branding every Punjabi, Punjab, as you started your debate with, Punjab as a den of drugs. I want to ask you a question. Are drugs produced in Punjab? No drug in the world, it may be of any kind, is produced in Punjab.
But what is the reason? What is the reason why the government has not put a tight leash on the drug peddlers? What is the reason?
I'm coming to the thing. There are two sources of drugs in this country. One is the international border of Punjab with Pakistan. All drugs come from Jammu Kashmir.
So you mean to say that the state government has nothing to do?
No, I'm just coming to that. Listen to me. Drugs come from Pakistan and Afghanistan.
Right.
They come through the Pakistan international border. Who controls the border? BSF.
Okay.
BSF is under whom? Government of India.
Home Ministry.
If the Home Ministry would have sealed off the border, no drug would have come into Punjab.
Okay.
Now the drugs come from Pakistan, Afghanistan via Punjab, and the drugs go to rest of the country.
So basically, you are.
We are a transit point to the rest of the country.
Okay.
Now, when it crosses
the border,
entire
onus lies on the Home Ministry for controlling the drug peddling.
Yes, it is on
Not
the border.
The state government.
No, just come to me. On the border, drugs are supposed to be controlled by government. Whatever is not, it filters through. Then onus comes to us. We have been catching those people. If you look at the state of the whole country, drugs are available in every part of the country. I want to ask you a question, which is the state where drugs are available everywhere is Goa. Last year only 55 people were arrested, 55. You go to Maharashtra, every second day in Pune, rape parties of 1,000 people. You go to Gurgaon, just not 2 days back, 1,000 people rape party where drugs were distributed openly. But just look at the figures of how many people they have arrested. In Maharashtra, just less than 1,000 people in a year.
But sir, tell me one.
I'm coming to that.
Right.
In Punjab, we arrested 15,000 people. The same people, the same drugs which, if we wouldn't have caught them, they would have reached every part of India. So actually, we are fighting the war. Just because we caught 15,000 people and we caught the quantity of drugs, people started thinking and the media started thinking, so much drugs in caught in Punjab. Obviously, the drugs will be caught in Punjab because the BSF is not doing the job. It is coming through us and we were supposed to go to other part. We did our job. We caught them. We arrested people. And then, and if we wouldn't have caught them, for example, and we wouldn't have arrested them and we wouldn't have publicized them.
Why have the kingpins raised questions on Bikram Singh Majithia? They have said that the people in the Badal family, they have been, they have been supervising all this.
Just tell
the,
me.
the state,
that's exactly what I want to
the cars have been used.
None of that has been stated by any one of them. This is again a media perception created by all the political parties. None of the what you have said. Now, the drug lords, just tell me, the drug lord who's been caught, we smashed his complete ring. We arrested all his colleagues. It's our government. If we were involved in him, we would have arrested him. We would have smashed the ring. We caught them. For 6 months, he's been in jail. He attended 10 court hearings. He never said anything. In one of them, after he just took a name, just because he wanted to deflect the attention, they took one of the minister's name.
No, but so when a person like former DGP prisons, Shashikant, raises questions and says that he has proves that various Shiromani Akali Dal leaders have been involved in drug peddling, the people will tend to believe him.
No, Shashikant has never raised a single issue when he was a DGP. We made him DGP prison. I was a Home Minister. Has he even once mentioned that time? Just because he wanted to get into our party, he became a member of our party. And after becoming a member of our party, then he wanted to again blame the ruling party. When he was the DGP, why didn't he raise the issue?
But Mr. Badal, is it not true that he gave a list of the sad leaders who were actually involved?
Not in once.
And he said that the Chief Minister kept it under the carpet?
Not in once. This is exactly a person saying once he joins our party. I can also come and say that so-and-so person, Rahul Gandhi, did this. Rahul Gandhi, I can make 10 people say in Punjab that Rahul Gandhi made us sell drugs. That means you start believing everything. You know, I am saying don't play politics of drugs. We have to save our children. A government which is fighting a national war, if we don't catch these drugs are not going to be in Punjab. All of them are going to be in every part and nook and corner of Punjab, of India. These drugs are not meant for Punjab.
Surveys after surveys are saying, and there was one survey which was shown on BBC, then the Singapore-based company was doing a survey. They said that 70% of the youths, they are involved in the drug. There are no registered cases against the children who have become drug peddlers.
First of all, there's not a single survey which has said that 70% of the youth of Punjab is in drugs. Not a single survey. I challenge anybody. One survey took place.
So this is again a wrong perception according to you?
Okay, I'm telling you. One survey took place by a professor of Guru Nanak Dev University. His survey was, he surveyed all the drug addicts of Punjab. And in his survey he said, out of the drug addicts I've surveyed, 70% were youth. It's not the population he surveyed the drug addicts. Obviously a drug addict is at the younger age is going to take drugs. And that is very unfortunate that Rahul Gandhi started talking without even knowing the facts that it is and started saying 70% of youth of Punjab are in drugs. And unfortunate for us, every media without checking facts, without checking anything, blamed and branded Punjab as a drug capital. You know, it is a war against Punjab. How can any media be that irresponsible and started branding every 70% of youth in Punjab means you go around in Punjab and every second person. Right. Can you go and see this? Punjabis have fought all wars. We have martial calm. It is not, we are not drug addicts. You go to Rajasthan, where drugs are grown. You go to Madhya Pradesh, drugs are grown there. Rajasthan makes money out of drugs. A state government officially makes money out of opium and poppy husk. How can one state, you talk about Punjab and no drugs are used.
Mr. Badal, if you're saying that the SAD government has played an active role in exposing the drug lords, in arresting them, in apprehending them, then the political parties have made it a rallying point. So do you concede to the fact that you have lost out on the war of perception?
That's very unfortunate that media has played to the hands of the political battles. And unfortunately, media has branded a community as drug pushers The same media which had branded every Sikh as a terrorist. You know, it is very wrong. We Punjabis are fighters. Punjab provides wheat and rice to the nation. States like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh produces opium and hashish and other things. Why is nobody talking about that? Where you go to Rajasthan, we go to anybody's house. When in Punjab, they'll offer you badam or kaju. And in Rajasthan, they offer you opium. Every house, second house, this opium is distributed.
No, Mr. Badal, I'll again come back to the question with which I began. If you're hyperactive in apprehending the people and exposing the drug racket, and the political parties have made it a rallying point, then don't you think that as a precedent which has happened earlier as well with another sad leader, I'm talking about Mr. Sukhbir Singh Badal, who actually resigned when his son's name cropped up. So don't you think that the time is right for Mr. Majithia also to step down?
We do not want to...
Maybe you can wipe out the perception that look, the inquiry is on and he can join back later.
It's not that. You want the drug lords to have a field day? That means I can have 10 people of Punjab come and say, the Prime Minister has done this, Home Minister has done this, the third or Cabinet Minister there, everyone will resign the first day. You know, you're trying to encourage people rather than fighting them tooth and nail.
Right.
You feel that we should encourage people to blame. Then you'll have 1 lakh people coming and blaming every government or every minister, every police chief. It means police will also give up their job. That if DGP catches somebody, that criminal will say, I have paid DGP so much that the next day DGP should resign. The SSP of a district catches a criminal, he'll take his name, the SSP resigns. Are you falling in the hands of the criminals or are you fighting them? We are fighting the criminals.
But sir, there have been all sorts of reports, you know, for example, the World Kabaddi Cup, it functions, you know, the entire drug cartel operates in the garb of that cup. All those kind of reports have been
Who said that? Gave one report which said the World Kabaddi Cup is run by a cartel. Name one. That means exactly what I'm saying.
These kind of reports have been coming again from the Congress camp. Mr. Bajwa has been...
Mr. Bajwa, obviously Congress. What is Mr. Bajwa? Captain Amarendra Singh, the Chief Minister of and ex-President of Congress, himself wrote to the Sonia Gandhi that Pratap Singh Bajwa has the biggest links with all the drug lords of the state. So you're going to question him? Their own party leader is saying that. You know, I am saying media's job is to be responsible, not sensationalize things. TRPs are not the only things for this nation. We should realize who's right and who's wrong, who's fighting a war and who's a sufferer war. Right. Nobody is talking about Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, which is producing drugs. Why can't the government of India ban drugs there? Opium, which is killing lakhs and lakhs of children, hashish and poppyas, which is killing thousands of people, lakhs of people around the country, are being grown in a state and officially sold in a state, and the states make money out of it. And nobody is talking about that. In our state, where nothing is grown, we only grow wheat and rice, and we fight those guys across the borders with drugs coming from across the borders. Our police catches them, and we are branded as drug pushers.
Which means you will continue to fight this battle, and Mr. Majithia will not step down, and he'll face the law as it takes its course.
I'm saying he will face the law. If any of the agencies find anything on him, we will be the first one to arrest him, or anybody else, irrespective of his political affiliations.
Right.
Or relationships, anybody is caught, because drugs is non-tolerable.
But if any case is made out, a provable case is made out against Mr. Majithia, you will ask him to resign.
I'm saying anybody. Okay. It can be anybody. Okay. Law is for everybody. Okay. But I must tell you that there cannot be two laws in this nation.
Right.
One states produce drugs and rest of the country suffers from drugs. You cannot allow states to produce drugs and make money out of it.
There's a point in what you're saying, but I'll have to take a break here. When we come back, we talk about the relationship between BJP and Shiromani Akali Dal. Back in a moment. Every day there are reports that, you know, the ties between the two parties are worsening. Is it true?
There's no difference between Akali Dal, BJP and Punjab. Our relationship is important for the nation. Our relationship is important for the future of the state.
Welcome back. You're watching To The Point with Deputy Chief Minister of Punjab, Mr. Sukhbir Singh Badal. Mr. Badal, this whole episode of Majithia being summoned by ED, don't you think that it's a signal by the BJP that, look, we are tightening the leash, and now since elections are around the corner, elections are in 2017, and every day there are reports that, the ties between the two parties are worsening. Is it true?
Actually, this is again a media game. The last 7 years we have been ruling Punjab. Not a single scandal has ever been unearthed in Punjab. Media has to take a certain space. I have seen thousands of stories in the last 7 years where the complete false stories have come up. There's no difference between Akali Dal, BJP in Punjab. Our relationship is important for the nation. Our relationship is important for the future of the state. And we are the only people. Akali Dal is the only party which stood by BJP at the time when nobody even wanted to touch BJP.
But so post Haryana elections, when you have senior leaders like Tarun Chugh telling the workers that ab ye to Haryana ek jhanki tha, Punjab ki bari hai. These kind of slogans when they come out, don't they worry you as a party?
Those are not senior leaders, they are very junior leaders. They do not know the reality of relationship between Akali Dal and BJP.
So you don't take them seriously?
No, because they are not the level. The leadership at our level knows the relationship between both parties, knows the importance of the relationship, knows how through thick and thin we have struggled together. So the people who are from down, they like to, try to make goody points on their seniors. So we don't take them seriously.
But so from what has happened in Haryana, then in Maharashtra, we are seeing that BJP is actually going towards a single party dominance. And it seems that there's a pattern in where they feel that the regional parties probably would be decimated.
Nobody
don't
can
these kind of things worry you as a party?
No party can
because you've
decimate.
been the main party in Punjab.
See, no party
and BJP has been playing a second fiddle.
Okay, no party can decimate regional parties. The regional parties, the way they understand the aspirations of the region, national parties cannot.
But so,
a national party at the center, the regional leaders of there in the state, don't have the freedom to express their views about the state, interest of the states, the way a regional party can. And if you might have seen,
but BJP circles are already abuzz with the mission 2017 of Punjab.
They can be 2017 or 20 anything. Akali Dal has a history. Akali Dal is not a normal party. Akali Dal is a cadre base to the core. 94-year-old party, when half the parties were not even born. After Congress, the oldest party is Akali Dal. Akali Dal workers are dedicated workers. You go to the Punjab, there will be lakhs and lakhs of workers who have spent 15 years in jail for fighting for the nation and for the poor and for the state of Punjab.
But sir,
we are not, this is all media perception created, that there's a rift, Last 7 years they've been saying, this election they will not happen, this election that not. They can try anything.
But so when you have parties like BJP, BJP is just getting ready for the 2017 battle. You have the BJP workers and the RSS workers going down to areas like Mansa, which have been the Akali bastions. Doesn't that worry you as a party because they are getting ready for the elections?
Good. We all fight. When we are fighting together, the more people, the merrier. They will join more people with our group. Do you know something? Everyone has a freedom to go anywhere.
But do you take BJP seriously when leaders start talking about a lonely battle when they are not going to be fighting an election in alliance?
No BJP state leader or the national leader has conveyed to us that they are going to fight separately. They don't even think and have even discussed with us on that issue. So there's no point of discussing something which is just a media game to to build up readership or viewership.
But sir, don't you think that there is an underlining message when an organization like RSS builds upon the Rashtriya Sikh Sangat and then they are reviving the cadres over there? And
Rashtriya Sikh Sangat was set up not today.
No, it's an old organization, but they are trying to revive the cadres.
It's 15-20 years back. 20 years it has not been able to revive cadres. Sikh community is very clear. It's very clear. Who represents them? Who represents the Punjabis? It's very clear. So, and Akali Dal is not a representative.
What you're saying that BJP, if it fights a lonely battle in 2017, the Sikhs won't take the party seriously?
I am not saying that. I am saying Akali Dal and BJP will fight together.
Okay.
Why will we fight separately? We have no reasons to not fight together.
But so you're also seeing what is happening in West Bengal. Like Modi government is just sending out messages. Amit Shah is sending out messages that look, we are there to dominate the state. So
Listen,
likewise, a
what
similar
happens-
message would
What I'm saying is, West Bengal BJP has fought alone. They have a full right to dominate. They have already fought alone. They never they were neither with TMC or they were neither with the communists. So they're ready to. They should fulfill their dream.
So what is your party's strategy if supposing Modi government fights a lonely battle and they decide not to ally with the Akalis?
Why should there be something? You say what will be your strategy if moon comes to earth when the moon is never coming into earth? Why are we discussing something which will never happen?
So you mean to say that at the moment all is well within the
I
BJP
think it's perfect.
and Akalis?
There's perfect. There's nothing wrong.
So I'll take what you're saying for the moment. Let's come to the fact that the BJP has been under the scanner for recently the issues raised on conversions and reconversions. What is your take? Is your state really ready for a conversion law? Because you also, I remember, had asked for an all-party meeting.
We are very clear. Conversion should be banned in this country. Every religion has a right to flourish. No religion has a right to dominate or convert somebody else. We are all citizens and residents.
But what happens if right-wing Hindu groups start converting the Sikhs in Punjab?
I think they are completely, they should be banned, they should be not allowed. Any group, I'm not saying X, Y, Z, any group, for the national integration, for unity of the nation, no minority should be able to feel insecurity here.
But sir, is your state ready to pass a conversion law?
We are ready to pass. We are the biggest pioneers, or our gurus have taught us. Our gurus, our Chote Sahibzadas gave up their life speaking against conversion. Our whole party philosophy is against conversion. So there's no issue of passing a law. I think government of India should pass a law.
But sir, talking about the Sikhs as a community, a lot of Sikh communities and the NRIs who are outside India, they have been saying that the Akalis probably are not raising the issues of the Sikhs the way should. For example, talking about the Sikh identity. We're talking about Sikhs. So talking particularly about the Sikh identity, are you going to press the government to make amendments in section 25B of the Constitution?
I think we are very clear. There should be amendment. We Sikhs are an independent religion.
But there should be an amendment, but you're not pressing the government to bring in the amendment.
What happens? We have always take up the issues. Sikh is an independent religion. We are not part of any religion. We are very clear on it. And the whole country and the world knows it.
But sir, I mean, given the fact that 2017 elections are around the corner, it would give you political mileage as well if you raise this issue and
we have been raising it at the right forum.
Okay, but not with the government of India.
Right forum means government of India also.
Okay. So, what is the government's reaction on that? What have you heard from them on that section 25B of the Constitution?
At the moment, they're just examining. I cannot say beyond that.
But don't you think that if this kind of an amendment is brought, you could reap in political dividends for the elections as well?
For this, I don't believe in political dividends when it comes to religious matters. Our game plan is not dividends. We should look at the interest of religion.
No, because sir, you have a party which believes in religion and politics going together.
But everything cannot be on politics. You cannot do everything. Any step taken by government or a party should not be only on dividends. Something which is in principle, certain things have to be taken out. You may suffer a loss for that.
So you'll continue to raise this amendment
at every possible forum.
But with no deadline.
When you're not the person who has to take a decision, you can only raise it and you can put forward your case.
It's a pleasure talking to you, Mr. Badal. Thank you so much for coming on To The Point. So that's it on this episode of To The Point. See you next time with another personality. Goodbye and thanks for watching.